I'm with John Lloyd, one of the best coaches in the world. Great player, amazing player. What was your best ranking?
21.
21 in the world. Okay.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah. And what do you think is the most important thing you need to do to be the best tennis player in the world?
Well, I think that what separates the greats from the good players, I think, is their mind, the attitude, the will to win, the thirst. You know, every point is vital. You know, when you look at the great ones, they just compete better than the good players week in, week out.
Yeah.
I think it's the discipline.
The discipline, yeah. Have you noticed the game changing when you were 21 in the world versus now?
Oh, it's night and day.
Night and day, yeah.
The power with, you know, we played with good rackets, you know, until graphite came in, and with good rackets, you know, when you were out wide on a ball, you'd have to, you know, chip it back or lob, because otherwise that's all you could do. You know, now with the, you know, players hit winners from everywhere off the court, you know, with the power of the strings and the rackets, they could do that. We couldn't do that. And they're better athletes, just know what to eat and drink, and you know, training methods are different. I mean, we used to, before a match, you know, we'd have, you know, my meal of choice was a steak and French fries 2 hours before a match, and then wash it down with a couple of Diet Cokes.
Since you've been around, that's very interesting stuff. Since you've been around some of the best players in the world, I mean, you were around when you were probably watching, well, who's the Jack Kramers,
I'm not that old.
No, but you were around watching them. So, you know, the Bill Tildens, I don't know if that was, you know, when you were a kid. When you were a kid, though,
yeah.
You know. So, you know, from the Sampras, all the days, who's the most talented players that you've been around, and why?
Well, I'm not saying he's the best player, but I think John McEnroe would be the most talented.
Most talented, really?
Yeah, because I think that you know, he was extraordinary what he could do.
Right.
You know, and I think I saw him play maybe the best match that I've ever seen. I don't mean in terms of a great match, because it wasn't, but it was when he demolished Ivan Lendl in the finals of the US Open. And I can't remember exactly the score, but it was 3 straight.
3 straight.
And I remember him taking Lendl's first serve, which in those days was a cannon, and hitting it on the rise and coming in behind it, and hitting these little short forehands and backhands, and then coming in with that unorthodox volley and putting the ball away, and Lendl couldn't keep him off him. And I thought, wow, no one could ever beat this person when he plays like that. Yeah. But you know, I grew up, played against Rod Laver, you know, and he was, in my opinion, you know, one of the greats of all time. But and then obviously now you see the Federers, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. What about the women? What about back in the Chris Evert?
Yeah, I know her.
You know her?
Yeah.
How do you know her?
Well, I was married at one time.
You were married? Okay, yeah. That's funny.
She was, well, her and Navratilova, that was a great rivalry, because you had the different styles, you know, which, you know, matchups. And nowadays, unfortunately, in the women, very few women serve and volley.
Right.
You know, it's more baseline. In those days, there were a lot of serve volleys, and Chrissy was the counter puncher. So you've got that contrast. But I'm a big admirer of the women's game now. I mean, Serena Williams, you know, and Venus. I mean, in my opinion, it's the greatest sports story in history.
Yeah.
In any sport, what they've achieved, and they have to be admired. And you know, while we still have them both, we should be grateful whenever they play, because they are amazing.
No, it's an amazing story.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Was Chris, by the way, was she? I mean, her focus was amazing. Obviously, I mean, when you were around her when she was the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was around her. Yeah, she. Her attitude again was what separates the good from the great. There was a number of matches I saw her where she was in big trouble.
Right.
And I remember after the match saying to her, you know, did you ever think you were going to lose? And she said no. And she didn't say in an arrogant way. She just said no. I looked across the net at my opponent, and you know, I thought they've got to win the last point against me, and I'm not going to allow that. And her presence, you know, scared so many of the women that played against her, because she was this steel personality on the court that every ball would come back at you over and over again, and she refused to lose. Yeah,
because you know, it's interesting. I talked to a lot of great players. I mean, I played at a good level, not at your level or Chris's, but you know, they all have their unique routines. If you did something, if you were around Chris, because I said, man, what a mentally tough player. If you were around her and you said something the wrong way, or I mean, she must have been like before a match, or before, you know, she must have had her own like unique routines, kind of like a Steffi Graf versus a Martina Hingis.
Well, yeah, everybody has routines, but the good thing, I think it's tough being married to a fellow tennis player just because of the travel and going to different places and so on. But I think one thing, it certainly helps, the career. Didn't really help mine for a while because I travelled with Chrissy and didn't concentrate much on mine. But I think it helps when you've got, you're married with someone who knows what you're going through. I mean, I wasn't anywhere near as good as her as a man to a woman in terms of rankings, but I still played in all the great arenas and played in some big matches. So I sort of knew what she was going through the night before a big match, thinking mentally. So generally speaking, I knew kind of what to say and what not to say. And I think it's maybe tougher for spouses who come in who are not tennis players and say the wrong things at the wrong time.
It's a funny story. I played a tournament, a big prize money tournament with a buddy of mine, Marius Kaluga, a very good friend of mine, and it kind of reminded me of Chris Everett, the Romanian guy. He's very, very focused. We were playing a big tournament. He was playing Michael Russell, who's a good player, got to top 100 of the world. And I made a comment to him. He wasn't talking at all the night before because sometimes you have your own routines. We traveled together. He's like, I'm like, you play this guy. He plays exactly like Michael Chang. I was just giving him a tip, and he didn't talk to me literally for another 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I brought up that. That's why I asked those questions.
No, you have to be. It's different routines, and that's, to be honest, that's why I think if you look at it, why these super coaches, so to speak, have come into the game now. It's not because they're going to, change Roger Federer's forehand or Andy Murray's backhand. It's because even these great players do get nervous before matches, big matches, any match, but certainly big ones. And you look at them out on court and you think, oh, it's a piece of cake for them because they look so calm. But they're nervous, just like we are, except, they learn how to handle it better. But when you've got a coach in your corner who's been there and done it, at night before matches, the practice before, they know what to say. And another coach doesn't mean you have to be a great player to be a good coach, to be a great player. That's not true. But they add something different because they've been there. They know what you're going to be feeling like in the locker room before a big final. So a coach that hasn't been there does not know that, and that's why I think they've become a big factor in the game, and will continue to do so.
That's a good point. I mean, because it's also the respect factor. Like Murray's not going to respect,
of course,
and what Lendl's done with him is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
John, thanks so much. It's good to see you.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
It's really good to see you.